everyone.
I'm Mariana.
I'm Jorge.
I'm Sebastian.
And we are the Citizens team.
We are going to talk about the topic respect to the cities and their problems. The name of the topic is city growth.
The reality of the cities is evident. City growth is a problem which has been taught since the 17th century. Meanwhile, there is not a formula to solve it. Urban population is increasing. A study for World Bank Group yielded devastating results. Over 54% of the population live in urban areas. A possible explanation for this phenomenon are that some people prefer to live in human agglomeration. In other words, they prefer to live in community than to live alone. This number is tending to increase in few years. According to ONU, it is around 7.5 million of people. Even in 2060, we will be around to 10.1 thousand millions. Contemporary cities don't have a defined limit. These structures tend to absorb the small urban areas, generate indifferentiated spaces, and diffuse the limits between rural and urban areas. The question is, does living in a city guarantee suitable living conditions? Will there be enough space for the population who live in urban areas? Could the city supply the requirements for the people?
In recent decades, cities with better amenities have grown faster, but in general, cities tend to grow over time and they don't grow uniformly at the same rate. This problem triggers other situations that we know currently and generate new repercussions in the future. The first problem is migration. In one hand, people who live in rural areas decide to move to the city looking for opportunities in education, health, and job. On the other hand, the structure of cities are not enough. For example, Medellin is a city which does not have a defined border apparently. Its borders and the real estate demand lead to have constructions in the suburbs which can generate or not unsuitable conditions for people because of the lack of planning. How could we government guarantee the same conditions in rural areas to prevent migration to the cities? The second problem is population growth. It increases because culture and education are not enough. Then the birth rate increases and the urban space in the city is not enough for population. Latin America is an excellent example of this case. How could the politicians contribute in education and culture in vulnerable population to prevent this fact? Could we control the birth rate tendency? Not less important is the capitalism. When the people in the city increase, the consumerism increases too. This phenomenon affects the environment. It establishes a confused limit between the urban and rural areas. How could we prevent the rampant consumption? How could we guarantee a sustainability between environment and people?
The effects and consequences about city growth problems are devastating. One of them, and the most important, is the increase of population. As a result, there will be too many cars and too many people in the city that probably will not have enough resources, so that people will starve. These human actions will cause environmental consequences, such as pollution, landslides, and floods, by the urban sprawl at dangerous levels to humans. Also, rural areas will disappear. In 2050, will the population have the environmental awareness? If we had this awareness at this moment, they would not have concerns to survive. Why do not we start thinking on a solution today? Why will we have to wait environmental disasters to act? Some of the effects that accompany the growth of the cities are overpopulation. The three countries with the largest overpopulation in the world are China, India, and United States. Other effects are the urban sprawl. This triggers the formation of the suburban areas, characteristic for being only housing, very far from the center. These areas predispose the use of
Created using Powtoon.